Shalom, it's September 8th, 2016. I want to welcome you to our live webcast. We're here at the Jewish Voice studio in beautiful Phoenix, and we're so glad that you could join us. Well, we're going to talk about a topic that I think you'll find very interesting and very helpful. We're going to talk about flushing out toxins, about detoxing your body. Wouldn't it be great if you could just flush out the poison that's in our system right now? Well, you can, and we have a very special guest that's going to help us through this. We're taking questions live. We have a toll-free 800 number that you can call. We want to help you get rid of doubt. We want to help you to get rid of discouragement. We want to help you get rid of anger. We actually want to help you with your financial situation. Now, how do your finances tie into detoxing your body? It does, and we're going to tell you how. We're going to be talking about a 30-day faith detox that was going to help you achieve physical and spiritual well-being, and it's all Scripture. It's all from the Scripture, and we want you to call in with your questions live. Here's the number, 888-777-0782. I'm going to give it to you one more time, 888-777-0782. Well, you can also tweet us your questions using hashtag JVWebcast. Well, let me introduce our guest. She's the author of a great book called The 30-Day Faith Detox. Renew your mind, cleanse your body, heal your spirit. And the author is our guest tonight, Laura Harris Smith. She is a certified nutritional counselor, and she's written a dozen books. She's helped hundreds of people achieve optimal wellness in body, mind, and spirit. And she's here tonight to help you. I know I need to detox, and I've done it before. It's been many years, and Laura Harris Smith is going to help us tonight. So, Laura, can you hear me?
I can
hear you now.
There's a bit of a delay between us, but
well, you look great. We have
but it's good to be here with you.
It's great to have you. So you're actually going to be on the program. We taped the program together, and that's going to be airing in October. I'll talk about that later. But I'm really glad you took the time out tonight to help us understand how easy it is to detox your body and how it... changes your whole system. Talk about detoxing. What exactly is detoxing?
Well, I had someone ask me once, what does it mean, first of all, the title, the 30-Day Faith Detox? How does your faith get toxic? Because this is a body, mind, and spirit book. And so I think the way that our faith gets toxic is just through life, through one thing or another happening, a trial, a relationship fails, financial struggles. And before you know it, you are you're in a place with the Lord where you're really struggling with your faith. And believe it or not, that shows up in your body, it shows up in your mind, and it shows up in your spirit. So, and that's your faith. So what I really set out to do in the book is to use a 30-day platform. And I came up with what I call 30 universal faith toxins. Okay, and their residues such as discouragement or doubt or fear. No Christian, wants to live in fear, No believer wants to walk around depressed, and yet so many do. And so I felt like if we could just find those common trials we have all experienced, and I chose 30 of them. And like I said, they're things like, maybe your relationships, your finances, and then using that 30-day platform, we tackle one every single day, and we do it with correlating body detox. So that's it in a nutshell.
So give us a picture of how it works. Okay, it's 30 days. When I think of detox, I think of a partial fast. I think of drinking certain juices. This is even more comprehensive than that. So just give us an overview of how the program works.
Okay, well, first of all, we are pastors in Nashville. We pastor a church called Eastgate. And what I began to notice was when people would come to the altar for prayer, their prayer requests fell into one of 5 categories. And that was either their finances, their health, their relationships, their social influences, things going on in the world around them, or their own personal identity and purpose. So we took these 30 days and we broke them down into those 5 categories. And we spend 6 days on your finances. Why can't I get ahead? Why does promotion elude me? Why do I even have to tithe or give back to God's, all of those topics. And then 6 days on your relationships and 6 days on your health. And then with that in mind, you wake up every day, and the first thing you do is we address your spirit. See, detoxing cannot happen without the spirit and the mind. A lot of good detox books out there for your body. But if you're really going to have successful results and be whole, you've got to do all 3. So let's say that this particular day we get up and we're discussing, maybe it's a relationship in your life that you're struggling with. So it just turns out that that day you're going to get up, you're going to read your devotional for that particular thing, and then you have scriptures in there and just really tether you back to the Word on what the situation has maybe brought about in your life and how it has left you feeling. And then turn our attention to your emotions. What were the residues from that situation? Whether it was, bitterness or anger. Oh my goodness. I mean, God created emotions, but the enemy tries to hijack them all the time. And so then we turn our attention to your body. And this is really what you're asking me. But all that subtext has to be given first for you to understand that by the time then we turn our attention to your body, and we say, okay, we're dealing with relationships right now. So today we're going to detox the physical heart and the cardiovascular system and the circulatory system. So that day you would have a smoothie. You eat or drink 4 or 5 times a day on the detox. And you would have a smoothie to begin in the morning, and then wonderful lunches made everything from stir fries to soups to salads. And then also an entree at night. You've got snacks during the day, milkshakes. You're not going to go hungry, and nothing tastes like grass. You have my word. But the cool
Laura,
thing about
let me just interrupt you for one thing. I want to be clear. Is this something that you're taking 30 days off from your life, and spending? Is this a 8-10 hour a day thing, or is this something you can do in the midst of a regular schedule?
Rehab. No, I think that's called rehab.
I'm asking because I'm planning on doing this very soon.
No. What I'm describing to you is the total temple cleansing that you're going to be accomplishing. And I would say that out of the entire book, okay, only about 10% of it, of the text, has to do with nutrition, has to do with actual eating and food preparation. And the rest are your devotionals and your prayers, things that hopefully you're doing every day anyway, connecting with God on that spiritual and emotional level. But the difference is that we're going to do it in such a way to where you, step by step, you confront every emotional and spiritual Goliath that has tried to come against your faith, and you do a correlating body detox with it, so that by the end of the 30 days, you have detoxed all 15 major body systems for a total body detox.
What I find
Jonathan, what I'm hearing from people is that it's a total temple cleansing.
What I find so fascinating about this, and there's so many books out there on detoxing, is the connection between a body organ, the color of that organ, and certain fruits and vegetables that actually will replenish or detox that organ, and then all of the emotions and the spiritual issues that tie into that. I want you to explain that more fully. I think that's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, well, I say that God color codes our food, color codes our foods. And one of the things that I loved learning in nutrition school was about why plants, fruits, vegetables are the colors that they are. I think somewhere in my mind, I assumed that God just, whatever mood he was in at the moment, that's why the banana was yellow. You know, I didn't give it much thought, to be honest with you. And maybe there are others like me who did not. But wow, when I started learning that the thing that makes a strawberry red or a tomato red, it's a phytonutrient called lycopene. All right, everybody they want to put it in a pill form now. You hear lycopene commercials all the time. If you walk into a drugstore, take the little red pill, your lycopene. And I'm thinking, just eat a red apple. Just eat. God has put ingredients in that phytonutrient that, guess what? They're good for your heart. And that's really easy to remember with the fruit being red. So, yeah, you hear sometimes a red onion be called a purple onion. That's because depending on if it has more red or blue in it, blue being the presence of another phytonutrient called anthocyanins, if it has more blue than the red, the onion's going to look a little more purple. So the way that God has color-coded our foods, and what I try to educate the reader to understand long after their 30 days are over, is, okay, so if I'm having some bone and joint issues, I need to reach for orange, because that is a color that my bones really like. And I don't mean Skittles or M&Ms or anything like that, Jonathan. I'm talking about fruits and vegetables.
I think it's fascinating. Hey, we have a couple of questions that people have videoed in, so let's look at one of our video questions.
Hi, Laura. My name is Tiffany, and I'm from Phoenix. I just have a question. I've been reading your book, and I just want to know, if I cannot afford organic fruits and vegetables, what other alternatives or options do I have? Thanks so much.
I didn't get to hear that. Did you hear it?
I couldn't hear any of it, no.
Okay.
She's beautiful, but I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, I didn't hear it either. I'm sure it was a good question, but
if they can't
okay.
afford organic.
What can if people can't afford organic fruits and vegetables,
Sure.
What's a good alternative?
Listen, I've got 6 kids, and I totally understand this question. It's such a valid one. Here's what you do. You do what you can. First of all, you're going to be spending your exact same grocery budget, just in different aisles, okay? You're going to be going over, switching from the middle of the grocery store, which is where all your dead foods are. I call them the processed foods that are in bags and boxes. And you're going to shop around the peripheral of the grocery store where the plugs are, things that are living, okay? Your fruits and your vegetables, your dairy, your meats, those type things. So amongst those, still, there are different prices. Hey, I've been in the produce department and stood there holding the $2 piece of fruit, organic, and the $1 piece of normal fruit, and thought, I just can't do the $2 one. So what you do is you buy what you can, and then you get a really good vegetable wash, all right? And the reason that you have to do that is because pesticides, they're put all over the vegetables and fruits to keep them growing without being devoured by, as my father on his farm calls them, the critters. So they have to have these chemicals. but you're going to be putting more toxins in your body while you're trying to detox, and that's like brushing your teeth while trying to eat Oreos. You can't do that. So what I suggest is the vegetable wash, but here's the big if. If it is a porous fruit like a strawberry or something like celery, where there's so many entry points where a pesticide could soak up into the inside of it, a vegetable wash is not going to help. So you can go online and look for different lists. There's like a top 12 list to stay away from.
I was just going to go there. There is a published list of the greatest culprits. And so if you're going to prioritize, right, you actually start, according to that list, buying organic according to the greatest culprits, like celery, like strawberries. Yeah. And I think apples are up at the top of that list also for some reason, aren't they?
They are. They are. And so they are at the top. And I hear people all the times, I guess kind of bragging about their organic bananas. And I think that's a waste of money. I don't ever buy organic bananas because the peel protects it, and I chop my own pineapples. And so, but
don't start with bananas. Don't start with oranges. Start with the ones that are most porous, right?
Listen, you can go to my website. I have the list on my website. And you just go to lauraharrismith.com/FAQ.html. And that's just a frequently asked questions page that I have. And there's like 70 questions on there. And on down the list is the list, your top 12, and then your clean 15, and then your dirty dozen that you stay away from.
The dirty dozen. Laura, we got to take a break. We have about 30 questions that are sitting in front of me that people want you to answer. We're also taking calls live, 888-777-0782. I really want to encourage you to get Laura's book, The 30-Day Faith Detox. And I'm going to do this detox, and I hope I'm not the only one. This will really help you spiritually. It'll help you emotionally. It'll help you mentally. And I really encourage you to get it. We're making it available here at Jewish Voice today and also when Laura's on the program. Hey, take a look at someone whose life has been transformed through this book.
Hey guys, Sean Tabbitt here. Just want to give an update and a quick testimony about one of my favorite books, The 30-Day Faith Detox. Tomorrow marks the 5-month anniversary. I started back on January 10th. Tomorrow is going to be June 10th. So 5 months ago, I started the journey. This book has totally changed my life. At weigh-in this morning after my run, I am down to 203.8 pounds, which means I have lost a total of 45 pounds over the course of the last 5 months. And Laura's book, The 30-Day Faith Detox, was the catalyst that got it all started. This is not only a book to help you make dietary changes, but it's really a whole total being, total person detox cleanse. It covers body, mind, and spirit. So you're changing your diet. You're going through specific prayers and devotions every day that are focused on different parts of the body. It was really a total transformation for me, and I am a totally different person because of it. So Laura, thank you again for writing such a fabulous book.
Wow. 40-pound weight loss. Laura, is that very, very is that typical of detox, that there's weight loss that accompanies it?
So do they not have the latest video that we sent yesterday? He's now up to 53 pounds. That's 53. Not the most current video that we sent in.
53.
Yeah, he's
my
lost
doctor
53
would be
pounds.
Very happy with me with a 53-pound weight loss.
Well, first
53
of all, let me tell
would just about
you
do
look
it.
Even greater than when I saw you last time.
I'm slowly but surely, but I'm expecting this to really move the needle forward real quickly. I mean, backwards, actually.
Good.
What am I saying? The other way. I want it to go down.
Yeah, backwards. There you go.
Yeah. How does detoxing affect weight loss?
It's not that it's were you asking me if it's typical?
Yeah, and how does detoxing affect weight loss long term or weight control?
Yeah, what happens is two things. Your body, you can be on a weight loss program and you can lose weight. And there are plenty of other good books out there that can help you do that. But if you're going to have lasting fruit, you're going to have to get whole. You're going to have to deal with the reason why you're eating wrong to begin with. Why are you reaching for the comfort food? Why aren't you, reaching out to God when you have that moment? Instead, you're going to run and get a cup of coffee to get up in the morning. Which is your strength, and what is your comfort? We all love chocolate, but I'm saying if I am down and out, God is going to be able to comfort me more through the power of his Holy Spirit than is, a bar of chocolate. So we've got to deal with things physically, but also spiritually and emotionally. And so what I'm hearing from people, oh my goodness, is that they are doing this and they're getting whole and the weight is coming off and it's staying off. So in Sean's first month, that gentleman you just saw there, he lost 25 pounds on the detox, and then he continued to do the detox and lost another now 28 pounds just eating that way. We have two lists in the book, one called the yes please list and one called the no thanks list. And he has continued to live by the no thanks and those foods and just eat colorfully and cleanly. And the weight is continuing to fall off of him. So I think the key is that you're having a body, mind, and spirit approach. And then you just continue afterwards to eat cleanly and colorfully.
Yeah, sounds good. 53 pounds, by the way. So there's no quick fixes, is what I'm hearing from you. No quick fixes. It's a lifestyle. I'm sure everybody watching has heard that over and over again. Hey, we're taking your calls, 888-777-0782. It's a free call. We'll pick up the cost, or you can tweet us by using hashtag JVWebcast. Hashtag JVWebcast. We have so many questions, I almost don't know where to begin. Somebody's asking about how I can't seem to get ahead with my finances. How will this cleanse help? So cleansing can actually affect our financial outcome.
Oh, yeah. And when we spend these 6 days talking about your finances, that's actually one of the titles of the devotions is Why Can't I Seem to Get Ahead? You have to take a step back and say, Lord, first of all, am I a good steward of what you give me? Am I living by the biblical principles of giving back to you first, what's yours from my first fruits? And then secondly, if I'm discovering everywhere around me, it seems like, promotion eludes me, then I have to be willing to stay still and trust that God has a plan for me, a career path for me, or a ministry for me. And if you can't do that, you don't have a finance problem, you have a God problem. So we have to be willing to wait for his best for us. Now, I say that, and I've been the woman with 6 kids in that spot saying, Lord, we have to eat. And so all I can tell you is that he will provide for you. We have been through incredibly lean times. Our family has quite a testimony. And, we went through fire. And I can remember being at my kitchen table and praying with my children for food, and a neighbor knocking on the door and saying they bought too much bread at the store and would we need some bread. And so I'm telling you, I'm very sensitive to that topic, but I can tell you what gets you out of that place is waiting on God and trusting that he will do more than you can ask or imagine with your finances. Be faithful and wait.
Laura, I think this has really come with age, and it's come with my weight issue, but the connection between your spiritual health and your physical health, spirit, soul, and body, is become clearer and clearer and clearer to me. They're very tightly connected, intricately connected. If we don't have energy, we can't pursue God the way we should, right? And if we're not spiritually healthy, it affects our physical.
Yeah. I talk about passing the appetite test. When God created man, what did he do? He put us right in the middle of a beautiful garden. And then look what happened. How did sin even enter the world? It entered through food.
Guys, I want you to throw out the pizza, by the way. They were serving pizza to our staff. Get rid of the pizza. I heard the garden, and I thought, I'm not picking up that pizza tonight. Get rid of it. Get rid of the pizza in your life.
Good for you. Actually, I had a great gluten-free pizza.
I knew you were going to say that, too. Gluten-free pizza.
There's great now that you can, I have found a perfect place in town. I like it made fresh. But listen, here's the thing: is that the appetite is, you're right, it's what links our spirit with our body, and we have spiritual appetites and we have physical appetites. And Esau, he sold his birthright for a pot of stew, and so once again, it was food that interrupted with his spiritual legacy. And same thing with the Israelites; they wanted meat instead of manna. Food just always seems to be the thing. It's like the enemy's weapon of choice to try to get in there and affect our spirits.
Laura,
let me tell you how I know that's true.
Laura,
is because
this is a complex issue because it's not something. If we have a problem with alcohol, we simply avoid alcohol or other things that are a problem. Food, you can't. Food, you have to deal with every day.
Right. No, I understand that. I understand that, and I understand the whole moderation issue. But proof that food is linked to your spirit is that when you remove it and you fast, your spirit boosts. And so it's more a matter of seeing where they're connected, seeing food as a gift from God, and learning to use it the way you'd use any other gift that he has given you. It's not, so the world calls it everything in moderation, but I call it just, really following God's lead on every good thing that he's given you, because anything that becomes enthroned above him will get dethroned. He will not share the stage with anything in our lives.
That's right. That's right. Joanne from Georgia is on the phone with a question. Joanne, you there?
Yes. Laura, thank you so much for taking this from a godly perspective. There's so many people out there trying to solve this issue and not include the creator of our bodies who created the food. How would you counsel someone who was diabetic and the special considerations necessary so that they avoid hypoglycemia and issues like that? I'm a healthcare provider, and
Sure.
we have many diabetics who might want to fast, but of course, and I'm not saying that that's part of it. I haven't read your book yet, but how would you counsel someone who's diabetic?
Great question.
Yeah, no, it is a great question. First of all, it's not an absolute fast. And I've had so many people who've referred to it as a fast, and it is a form of fasting because you are denying your flesh many things, but you're eating 4 or 5 times a day, or eating or drinking 4 or 5 times a day. The stomach is never completely empty. So there aren't any radical blood sugar spikes or anything like that. However, when you are juicing, of course, you're going to have it's natural sugar, but it's sugar nonetheless, and a diabetic can't take quite so much of that, or maybe the bananas in the smoothie. So what I recommend, first of all, is that whenever there's a banana involved, you're going to use a more green banana, because the more yellow, the more sweet, or it gets those yummy brown stripes on the outside. To me, that's when it's the most delicious, because it's the most sweet. But if you will instead use less ripe fruit, there'll be less sugar. But the primary thing you must do if you do have a diabetic tendency is talk to your doctor. So, in the early months, we had some people who told us they actually took the book into their endocrinologists and said, read this, tell me, look through here and tell me, is this a program that I can do, or what do you think about it? And I was so happy. I didn't hear a single bad report from any endocrinologist. They just, in fact, one of them, it was for a 16-year-old girl, a minor, and they said, yes, she needs to be on it. Just check her sugar while she's on it. And with the juices, you get to choose which fruits or vegetables you put in your juices based on a list I give you each day that are organ specific to the organ we're detoxing. And so she would just choose the less sweet ones rather than if her sugar was up that day, that kind of thing. So you have a lot of flexibility. I do suggest contacting your health professional or your doctor and getting them on board with you. I have not met a single doctor yet who would say, no, don't eat more colorful.
And Laura, the book is so practical. We're also including some really great it's so practical because there's these recipe cards, these very simple recipe cards. This one actually, emotional detox recipe. So detoxing for emotional, lots of little recipes all connected with the colors. It's simple, it's practical. Hey, we got to take another break. Before we take more of your questions, I want to encourage you to get the 30-day detox. This book will help renew your mind. It'll cleanse your body. It will heal your spirit. You can order the book right now. Just call the number on your screen. And coming up, Laura's going to tell us the number one thing that you can do to achieve wholeness in your life. So don't go away. Hey, we're back. Laura, I see that you have some juice concoction, and I'm going through the cards, and I'm guessing that it is the banana, wait a sec, I don't have my glasses here. It's either the purple, the lick the spoon immune purple slurp, or the brain boosting banana choco chip smoothie. Am I right? Which is it?
You got it.
I got it.
This is the brain boosting banana chocolate.
Brain boosting. That was
yours.
my
I have
first
one for
choice.
you.
The brain booster, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. It looked like the brain booster.
That.
And
yeah,
I tried
I was trying
it.
To be sneaky.
I tried it when you came out. It is delicious. It is absolutely delicious. Okay, pass it over.
Well, it's a crowd favorite. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, sorry. I wish just you could taste it. But
in the future.
I'll
We're still
drink
a
it
few
for
years
you.
off from that, I think. So, Laura, tell us what's the number one thing to achieve wholeness in our life? What's the one thing that people that are watching can do to achieve wholeness?
Well, the first thing you must do is be in right relationship with Yeshua. God has made a way on this earth for us to connect with him through his son. And there are so many people out there buying so many different books and going to so many different conferences, and they are trying to better themselves, self-improvement, without any connection to the Father. And so if you are watching this program, the chances are very good that you have that connection with him. If you don't, all you have to do is just ask right now, Father, I want you to come into my life, and I want you to do that through the means which you've provided, which is Yeshua, that I can become in right relationship with you and achieve wholeness, and come down that path toward wholeness. And so once you invite him into your life, that's the number one thing, because then the Holy Spirit is working on you from the inside out. So we just have to receive him first and foremost, and then start walking in obedience and letting go of the other many, many things that had replaced him. And that process, which many call, sanctification, there's many different names for it. That process really is where I think we learn the things about God that only we ourselves, our personal relationship with him, his personality, the way he speaks to us, hearing his voice. These are all topics that they seem auxiliary, like they're separate, but they're really not. The key to wholeness is relationship with God through his son. And when you do that, he is going to start speaking to you about your diet. He's going to start speaking to you about your emotions, the way you treat others, and the way you treat yourself. He's going to start talking to you about your spirit. And so the process for wholeness has begun. It's a
Lord,
process,
I don't think that anyone that's watching this webcast tonight is watching by accident. And I don't want anyone to miss what you just said, because the Bible is about relationship, and it really begins and ends there. And I believe that God had you log into the webcast because he wants to speak to you right now, and he wants you to renew your relationship. The Bible verse that is coming to mind right now is, if you draw near to me, I'll draw near to you. And with that, Laura, comes a setting in order, a restoration. And the gospel is about God setting things in order by sending his son. He sends his son to reestablish relationship with him, and it's a process of setting things in order. As a result of the fall, things fell out of order. We fell away from God and into separation. And now the message is about setting things in order through relationship with God. And your detox plan is allowing God to move us, to move our lives into a place of order, or reestablished order.
Wouldn't it be great if we could go back to the garden and experience that order? I know that that's impossible, and I know that short of heaven, things aren't going to be perfect. in any of those three areas of our lives, body, mind, or spirit. But 1 Thessalonians 5:23 tells us to remain blameless, body, mind, and spirit, at the day of his coming. So we can be blamed for some things that we do here. But the key to wholeness is to not segregate those three areas of ourselves. We are made in three parts because, you already see the Trinity hard at work in the garden when Scripture says, let us make man in our image. Okay, so that's already Father, Son, and Spirit creating something and saying, this object, this man, he's going to be just like three parts like us. So for people who try to, let's say the approach is weight loss, let's say that they are trying to just treat their body, or maybe they'll deal with their emotions a little bit in the process, but not their spirit. They're only treating 2/3 of the person. Or maybe they're just a person who prays all the time, but they never do anything to help their body or their emotions. Then they're only treating 1/3 of themselves. And so what you really have to do to achieve wholeness is just surrender all three to God and quit trying to segregate those three areas of your life. They all fit together. And you can't be healthy in one and not healthy in the others. It takes all three.
And that is really a Western concept. The separation of body, soul, and spirit is not typical of the majority of the world that sees the integration of the three. Talk about identity, because we're talking about relationship. We're talking about the restoration of relationship with God and putting things in order. Talk about identity. You talk about it in the book that there's actually a body system connected with our identity. Elaborate on that. I think that's fascinating.
Well, I do. I have a devotional, and it's in the very last chapter, because I wanted people to understand that if they are going to have their identity in things on earth or in this new figure they want or another size clothes, that's not the stable place to identify with. The only thing we can identify with that is solid and eternal is God himself. And so anything else you try to do is going to fall short if it's not based on the right thing. So yes, so we actually, in the last section of the book, there is a devotional called Copy and Paste, Will the Real Me Please Stand? And so at the same time, we are detoxing our bones. And we have our bones and our skeletal system, our sensory system, all of these things. And we say that ties in because, you have to learn to stand up for yourself. You have to learn who to stand for. Your bones are what that is a symbol of. And so these are how we connect things on the detox, as we just try to marry together the spirit and the body. And of course, the emotions will follow. But you just see a lot of people, I'm not the only one, you see especially youth, they are finding their identity in things that are not eternal. And as a result, their lives are a train wreck because they have nothing solid. There's no foundation in their life. Their identity is based on false things. So if you could, and I love when I hear young people going through the detox, because if you can figure this out early in your life, that your identity is based on God alone and what he says about you, then you will stand up for yourself. You will stand strong. You will see clearly the path that God has for you. So that's just one example of how we connect the spirit and the body.
Well, I love the approach. It's not only fresh and new, it's from the Holy Spirit. I really believe Laura wrote this under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, and I really want to encourage you to get it, not just get it, to read it and to apply it, to be a doer of the word and not a hearer only. And I am preaching to myself. I really am committing myself to doing it. It's a 30-day faith detox by Laura Harris Smith. Renew your mind, cleanse your body, heal your spirit. Laura, thanks so much for being on the webcast. And you'll be on our television program. It's going to be the week of October 24th. October 24th.
Yes.
And we'll continue the conversation then. So everyone, check your cable listings for the times. Laura's going to be on the week of October 24th on Jewish Voice with Jonathan Bernis. Looking forward to seeing you then.
Rabbi, may I tell you something that I have to tell you I'm so excited about regarding Israel? I know you're going to love this.
Shoot.
Okay, good. My father, as I mentioned earlier, he owns a farm, and he always names an animal that's born, one of his horses or cows or whatever, after whichever one of his children or grandchildren has the closest birthday. Well, I've waited over 50 years and there's never been an animal born on the farm near my birthday. And finally it happened a couple of years ago. So I don't get to see my father that often, but I went to his farm recently and I saw, it was a horse. I have a horse. And I saw this horse, okay? Now I want you to look at this horse and look on, there's a marking right there, right in the, I can't do this really well, right there. Okay, now as you get closer to it, I'm gonna just zoom in just a little bit there. So what I did was I came home and I started looking, I'm sorry, I'm not doing this really well. I started looking at it and I thought, this marking on my horse looks so very close to
It really does.
the nation of Israel.
It's amazing.
Isn't it amazing? So I'm like all excited, like I waited 50 years and God gave me a horse. Knowing I love Israel the way I do, he gave me a horse with Israel on her. It's just imprinted on her. Isn't that beautiful?
That's cool. If it was a red heifer, I'd be really blown away. So, but that is really great.
Yes.
Hey, looking forward to
Sweet
having
business.
you with us on October 24th. Thanks so much for being on the webcast. And I want to really plug the book again, The 30-Day Faith Detox. It really, really will help you, spirit, soul, and body. And I think we're also including an DVD teaching of A Hope and a Future, my newest book. And we really believe that God has a plan for you. That's what his word says, that he has a plan for you. He has a hope. He has a future. And it's a good plan. It's a good thing. He wants to bring you his shalom.